You finally hear back from the insurance company. They're declaring your motorcycle a total loss. But you don't want to give it up. You just want to know, can I keep the bike and still get paid? I'm Pablo Tamayo, a Florida accident attorney for nearly 2 decades. And this is one of the most misunderstood parts of the property damage claims. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how total loss payouts work in Florida and what it means if you want to keep the vehicle. So don't get shortchanged, lose your bike unnecessarily, or sign away rights you didn't know that you had. Understanding total loss in Florida. All right, let's get right into it. If your motorcycle has been in a crash here in Florida and the insurance company calls a total loss to your vehicle or your motorcycle, you might be wondering if you can still get compensation and keep the bike. This is a really common question, and it's actually more complicated than it sounds. So let's break it down together in plain everyday English. First, when an insurance company calls your motorcycle a total loss, what they're really saying is it would cost more to fix the bike than it's currently worth. In Florida, insurers typically use a total loss threshold. What does that mean? If the cost to repair your motorcycle is at least 80% of its fair market value, the insurance company can decide to call it a total loss. Sometimes, even if it's a little less, they'll still make that call if the repairs are complicated or the damage is widespread. But just because they say it's a total loss doesn't mean you're left with no options. In fact, you may have some choices about what happens next. So let's talk about exactly what to expect as you move through this process. What happens right after the insurance company calls it a total loss? Once your insurance company decides your motorcycle is a total loss, here's what usually happens in Florida. They'll determine the actual cash value of your motorcycle. That's basically what your bike was worth right before the accident, not what you paid for it and not what it would cost to buy a brand new, but the fair market value considering its age, miles, and condition. Next, they'll offer you a payout for that value minus your deductible if you have one on the insurance policy. In most cases, the insurance company takes ownership of the wrecked motorcycle because they paid you for it. They'll then take the title, turn it into a salvage title, and sell the bike at an auction, usually to a junkyard or some sort of salvage dealer. But maybe you love your bike. Maybe you think you can fix it yourself, or you just want to keep it for the parts. Here's the big question. Can you get the insurance money for a total loss and still keep your own motorcycle? So can you keep your motorcycle after a total loss? Yes. In Florida, it is possible to keep your motorcycle after it's been declared a total loss. But there are some very important things you need to know before you make this choice. So here's how it works. The insurance company will pay you the actual cash value of the motorcycle. But if you want to keep the bike, they'll subtract what they think the salvage value is. Salvage value is what they could have gotten if they sold the wrecked bike at auction. So let's use an example to make this clear. Let's say your motorcycle was worth $8,000 right before the crash. The insurance company calls it a total loss and offers you $8,000 minus your $500 deductible. So all in all, $7,500. But you want to keep the motorcycle. So the insurer says, okay, but the salvage value is $1,500, meaning they could have sold the bike, the busted bike, for that much. So instead of giving you $7,500, they'd give you $7,500 minus $1,500, the salvaged value, leaving you with $6,000. You get to keep the bike, and you also get $6,000 to do whatever you want. That could be for repairs, buy another bike, or anything else. So what is a salvage title, and why does it matter? Here's the next big thing you need to know about keeping your motorcycle after a total loss. In Florida, your motorcycle's title will be changed to a salvage title. This is a legal requirement. You can't just keep riding it around with a regular clean title. A salvage title means the bike has been seriously damaged or wrecked and declared a total loss by an insurance company. You're not supposed to ride a motorcycle with a salvage title on public roads. It's not considered safe or roadworthy yet. If you want to put the bike back on the road, you need to repair it so it meets safety standards and then apply for what's called a rebuilt title. This title requires an inspection by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. They'll want to see receipts for parts and verify the repairs are legit and that you're not dealing with a stolen bike or any dangerous modifications. So, if you're not a mechanic or you don't want to deal with the inspections or the hassle, keeping a totaled motorcycle might not be for you. But if you're handy, know a good mechanic, or want to use the bike for parts or as a project, it could make sense. What's the catch? The pros and cons of keeping a totaled motorcycle. Let's talk real life. Why would someone want to keep a totaled bike? And what are the downsides? Well, here are some of the pros to keeping the bike. Number one, you might be able to repair it for less than the insurance company estimates, especially if you do the labor yourself or you have cheap parts lined up. Number two, you can use it for parts, or maybe it has some sort of sentimental value to you. Number three, sometimes bikes are totaled for cosmetic damage, like scratches or a dented tank, but they still run okay. If you don't care about looks, you might get a usable ride for less. Well, how about some of the cons? One, getting a salvage and then rebuilt title can be a super hassle. It takes time and paperwork, and it's usually a headache. Number two, if you fix it and want to sell it later, it'll always have a salvage or rebuilt title associated with it. That means it's worth less, sometimes a lot less, than a bike with just a regular clean title. If the frame is bent or there's hidden damage, you could spend more than the bike is worth just trying to fix it. Also, some insurance companies won't cover bikes with a salvage or rebuild title. You might have trouble finding full coverage, or you might just pay higher rates for insurance. So, it really depends on your situation, your skills, and how much you care about that specific motorcycle. And you may be asking, how does this affect your personal injury claim as a whole? Well, if you were hurt in the crash, you might wonder if keeping the bike messes with your actual injury claim. And the short answer is no, not really. Your property damage claim for the motorcycle and your personal injury claim for your injuries, pain and suffering, medical bills, time off work, etc. are two separate things. They're two separate claims. You're allowed to pursue both at the same time. Keeping the bike just changes the math on your property damage payout, but it won't affect what you can claim for your injuries, loss of income, pain, suffering, medical treatment, etc. If your accident was someone else's fault, their insurance should pay for your bike, your injuries, or both, depending on the coverage. And if your own insurance is paying, like if the other driver didn't have enough coverage or didn't have any insurance at all, it works the same way. You still have the option to keep the bike as long as you accept the salvage value deduction. So what steps should you take if you want to keep your totaled motorcycle? If you are leaning toward keeping your totaled motorcycle, here's what I'd recommend doing next. Number one, tell your insurance adjuster right away. Don't wait until paperwork is done. Once the insurer sells or tows away the bike, it's gone for good. Number two, ask for a full breakdown of how they calculated the bike's value and the salvage value. This helps make sure you're getting every dollar that you deserve. Number three, if you disagree with their estimate, you have the right to challenge it. Gather your own evidence, recent photos, receipts for upgrades, or comparable listings for bikes just like yours. Sometimes just asking for a review will get you a better offer. 4, make sure you get the title paperwork handled correctly. You'll need the salvage title if you want to fix the bike, sell it for parts, or one day if you want to get a rebuild title. 5, you're not sure, talk to a Florida accident attorney who handles motorcycle accidents or property damage claims. A quick call could save you hundreds or even thousands. So summing it all up, the short answer. So you can receive compensation for total loss and still keep your motorcycle in Florida. Yes, you can, but you'll get the payout minus the salvage value. Your title will be branded as salvage, and you'll need to follow the right steps to get back on the road. It's not for everyone, but for the right person, it can be a great outcome after a tough accident. All right, we've covered what happens if your motorcycle is declared a total loss in Florida, how insurance payments work, what a salvage title means, and what steps to take if you want to keep your bike. If you're facing this situation, don't just settle for what you're offered. Know your rights and know your options. But there's one more thing you need to know. After a motorcycle accident, there are 5 things you must not do if you want to protect your rights and get the best possible outcome. That's what we're covering in the next video. 5 things you must not do after a motorcycle accident. Trust me, missing these could cost you far more than your bike. Click over now to make sure you don't make a mistake that can't be fixed. I'll see you over there.